You good?
We live?
Yep.
We're ready?
Yep.
Welcome to the highest quality conversation you're going to hear today. Welcome to the Trials to Triumph podcast. Welcome to Holy Gains Heroes. I'm Shane Hoffman.
I'm Jonathan Fan.
And I'm Brandon Moore.
This is Brandon, our special guest for episode 2, and he's got a lot of insight for today. I wish you guys do get to hear a little bit of the conversation we had. John secretly recorded it. So you guys will get to hear a little bit of the conversation we had accidentally on record. But today is a special episode because today is all about the trials of the holidays. So in real time, Thanksgiving and Halloween have passed, and we're coming up on the holiest holiday of the year. We're coming up on Christmas, and we're coming up on Hanukkah for all my Jews out there. But this is a universal topic. This applies to the holidays next year. That includes Halloween and Thanksgiving, especially Thanksgiving. We'll get into that. And you can listen to this year after year. And if you follow these 5 tips we're going to give you today, heck, even if you follow just one of them, and I highly recommend staying around for the 5th tip because that's the most important one, you'll be successful. You don't have to hit all 5. Consistency is the key, not perfection. With that, we're going to kick off the conversation. Guys, let's get started and let's talk about the first tip that they can use to overcome the trials of the holidays. Now, obviously, the holidays can be a hard time because they're all centered, especially in Western culture, things like Thanksgiving, they're all centered around food.
Yeah.
And it's this crazy thing where the first thing that we can do to avoid this, that people think I'm crazy when I say this, is just eat before you go to the event.
Dude, you'd be surprised like how much you could accomplish by just simply preparing, right? So like you come in so I think this is where it comes from. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I go through personally. I hear make sure you come with a hungry stomach or empty stomach, you're gonna get filled. Yeah. And so you do exactly that. You wait, you put everything off, you don't eat, so that by the time the dinner is ready, you eat everything in sight. And so for me personally, I drink a lot of water. I'll have like snacks, you know what I'm saying, before I hit up the event, and then that way I don't overeat when I get to the event. I don't know, what about you guys?
You know, one thing, you look at it like this. They do the same thing in the grocery store. In the grocery store, they put the most unhealthy items right where you can get them, right where you can see them. So if you don't eat before you go, it's like them bad items being right in front of you. You gotta hunger for it. You know you don't need it.
Yeah.
And the first thing you grab is the easiest thing that's available to you. And that's what that is. But if you discipline, that's a key word, discipline yourself, then you don't have to worry about falling off your goals, falling off your path, because you know you're already going a certain direction where you're trying to get a result. So if you come prepared, it's kind of like going on vacation. One of the things, you pack your bags, you get everything ready, but you gas up your car. You don't never go on vacation, don't eat. You know, you're like, wow. Because you already know you got a destination you're trying to go to, so you already fill up the tank, so you're ready for whatever prepares itself to you. So it's not saying you don't eat what they present to you, but you eat before, so you prepare, so you won't overindulge. You can keep your goals.
Analogy. And we can think of it like a lot of things, like food can be triggers for people, right? But when's the last time, like if I gave you guys a whole salad right now with eggs and maybe some walnuts and maybe a little bit of cheese, or just a big salad, some avocado, and then I put a slice of pizza in front of you after, is that pizza going to be as tempting as before I gave you the big salad? No, you're full. So if you eat before you go to this event, well, now those triggers, because a lot of people get triggered, like pumpkin pie, some people might love, or I love this, and your family's going to make those foods that you struggle with and you're trying to be healthier. If you eat before you go, those triggers become less triggering to you because you stopped, you prepared, and you stopped that instinct before you even got there. So the key is, why wait till there's an issue to address it? Why rely on your willpower when you're there, when you could just prevent it in the first place by making yourself full? It's like when you're at, like what you said, Brandon, that was a beautiful analogy at the grocery store. Well, if you don't buy the Snickers, if you don't buy the Kit Kats, throwback to last episode, if you don't buy the Ding Dongs, then you won't eat them, right? Because they're not there. Out of sight, out of mind. Now, maybe for you, unfortunately, it won't be out of sight because you'll be seeing it, but it'll be out of hunger because you won't want it. It's like if I were to grab you around the neck right now and choke you to death, right? You're choking. You're probably not going to be very motivated to have sex. It's not that you don't want to have sex, it's just you're dying right now, and so you're not very motivated to have
Disclaimer,
sex.
YouTube, because I know you got some things that, AI and all that. He's not saying what you think he's saying, but
I'm not talking about the act.
You're not talking about SA or anything like that.
No,
right?
no, we're talking about if you were being strangled
Yeah.
and fighting for your life, you wouldn't be very motivated to do anything else except breathe.
Well, let me get a quick play here.
Yeah.
Take your hand, ball up your fist. That's the size of your stomach. So if you eat before then, how much more room do you have for that big plate at the holiday meal? And you won't take in much more. You see how big your fist is? That's how big your stomach is. And sometimes our eyes deceive us, so we see that big plate of food, for a holiday meal. They cook the best meal for you, but I always look at that analogy. Wow, that plate, all that stuff in that plate, would it be bigger than my fist?
My mom used to say,
That was
your
much
eyes
more
are bigger
appropriate.
than your stomach.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
you can't,
That was a much more appropriate analogy and one that made far more sense than mine.
I don't know where he's going with that one.
I tried to say something relatable. And most people just wrote down "get choked" and "have got it." No, listen to Brandon's analogy over mine. There, that was better. But he's 100% right.
Yeah.
Your stomach is about the size of your fist, and if you eat a bunch of nutrient-dense foods that are going to fill you up, you're not going to be hungry to eat that bad stuff anymore. So it's just all about preparing and making sure that we're being successful. Now, if you have a family who would get offended if you don't eat their food,
Took it
right?
away.
That could happen.
So
the-
what do you do when that happens? Like what?
so what we do there is we have two options here. There's tip number 2, which is to bring your own food. We'll get there, but I want to get back there because I want to talk about there's a real thing, especially in this culture, where when someone has worked hard cooking for a full day, if you don't eat their food, they can get offended. Your grandma, your mom, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, whoever's cooking, right? There is another option, and a lot of people, the only reason I say this with caution is there are some of you that this isn't an option for, and it's because you don't have self-control. So if you're someone that doesn't have self-control, you need to be honest with yourself now.
Yeah.
But if you have self-control, this could be you, which is mindful moderation. I don't like this point for one reason. It gives people an out.
Yeah.
Oh, I can have the cake. It's just moderation. Here's an easy trick. If you take off your clothes now, you can step on the scale too, but I prefer the mirror as visual data. If you take off your clothes now and you can simply answer the question of, I am happy where I am, then you may permit yourself to do this. If you take off your clothes now and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're being truthful with yourself and you say, I am not happy where I am, then I don't recommend you do this because you have not developed the habits of discipline and self-control to do this. But if you have developed those habits, right, enough to where you just have a hard time overindulging, it's not necessarily you don't need sweets and you have no self-control, it's just, man, when I start, I can't stop, right?
And speaking of habits too, by the way, this is a shameless plug. We're not sponsored for this, but there's an app that you could actually track your habits. So let's just say, for example, several days leading up to, Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever season you're in while you're watching this right now, you could download the app and you could share your habits with your friends. And so for mine personally, it would be like eat at least 180 grams of protein every day, read my Bible every single day.
What is this app called?
It's called, I think it's called Habit Tracker. And
Yeah, I gotta
send
have
a
you
link.
be my accountability buddy.
I got you, bro.
Like slap me.
It holds me accountable because every time I get a notification, it's like, yeah, you gotta read your Bible, you gotta post your content. So that's what keeps me accountable, and that's what helps me to not overeat.
Oh, we're gonna get one for the business. It's perfect.
Alright. I just gotta do the mic because I want to make sure that it's getting the audio.
Yeah, but then it's not gonna sync up, right? Like it's gonna sound.
Yeah, I don't know about how it's gonna sync up with that one. That's the only thing.
Is that on still? Like it's still.
That one's still going, yeah.